Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day, regardless of how terrible and wonky the market is. Looking here again at Solana, seeing what's going on. I have a hypothetical play out here on the charts here. It does look like we are forming, and again, this is very premature, a cup and handle type of pattern where the price action is working itself into a slightly bullish backtest of the descending trend line. So again, there's that, but to be honest with you folks, when you're looking at stuff like this, patterns and stuff, you're kind of reaching almost based on the way the market is. Anything could happen, and as we can see here recently, the market can go from good to bad to ugly in a matter of minutes. So just friendly reminder to take this with a grain of salt. The whole point of me showing you this is to kind of teach you the way that I look at things and how to increase your overall success rate. It's not a guarantee, it's not exact science. I mean, we bought Solana and had to close our long position early. Thank God we did, and it was a good learning experience for a lot of people. Okay, and the reason why is because we basically the trade was invalidated once we lost key level support. Close the trade, it ran like 20% after that. Okay, but again, we bought at support expecting Bitcoin to hold 60K, and of course the world had a different different plan, different story unfolded for a lot of people. Okay, so let's look at here really quick. That I talked about this earlier. If you missed the update, 135 to 140 as a rough estimate. There's a decent amount of liquidation there. It's not a ton, but maybe about 1 billion perhaps as a rough estimate if you're kind of add them all together. So just keep in mind that level could get swept and the price could pull right back. It may not happen again. The price continues lower. There is liquidation, of course, down as low as 125, some late longs there. So truth is, it's not an ideal scenario here, but if we do look and we zoom in here a little bit, we can see what closer to 150, there's probably about 2 billion there at about 148. We've talked previously about 148 being that previous resistance shelf, but also a support level prior to it becoming a resistance. So just keep in mind 148 is just above this massive point of control that we have that we're starting to break into right now. Okay, so again, macro point of control, if you zoom out, you'll see 130 to 145 as a close approximate, where we see the most amount of volume right here. Okay, that leads me to believe that we're going to have a lot of resistance between now and 145, and it may be less likely to presume the price will continue much further than that. Okay, or it goes up to that resistance range and pulls back. Either way you look at it, we're under a key level resistance, and it's important to be mindful that we need 145 or higher to be able to kind of break bullish. Just because we've broken a temporarily or a tentative descending trend line doesn't mean too much right now, because honestly, it's inevitable to break a trend line. It's how you break the trend line that matters, and so far, there's not a lot of volume, which you could argue, honestly, there's a ton of volume, but I'm more so referring to the last couple of hours. And just generally speaking, it doesn't feel right. I would love to take a long with Solana, but we don't know the bottom's in for Bitcoin. And every time Bitcoin cracks itself just a little bit, Solana's doing it kind of a lot. We don't like that. So that being said, let's quickly understand some important factors. Getting close to 30 on the RSI, generally that's a bouncing point. So we do see the price action pull back to 125, 120, maybe even 110. Solid chance we'll see a bounce from there, pending Bitcoin doesn't take a nosedive. Stochastic is maxed out, of course. Money flowing out. MACD is significantly diverged. There's not a lot of reasons to take a long position right now. It's just kind of a hope and a prayer if you take a long. So if you did get along at the 110 to 115, you pretty much got lucky because you just probably kept buying the dip until it stopped dipping, right? Or you kept getting stopped out and eventually one stuck. And I'm sure you're not the one because you wouldn't be watching this if you were, but if you see people that are bragging about how awesome they are about getting in at 110 to 112, that took a lot of attempts, and they're probably not sharing with you the amount of failed attempts to get there, especially if it's high leverage. So just be careful on who you trust. I mean, shoot, be careful trusting me, honestly. You never truly know. But I would recommend that, obviously, you work within your risk tolerance and just do the right thing as a trader. It's important to be responsible and not to be too cavalier in the market, okay? So when we take a look here at the 4-hour time frame, we do have a MACD convergence. This is good. It's almost fully converged. It's not there yet. We see a lot of MACD FUs, so the price action could pull back. And the reason why those happen is because they're generally swinging into a key level resistance, which we're kind of in right now. We're in the 130 range. This 130 to 125 it's supposed to be a support level, but it's also a tentative resistance. Keep in mind on the daily time frame, we look at it here, it is holding as a support. Okay, so if we close at 130 or higher, that's going to be a very good sign. So we're on target for that. We've only got about 20 minutes left before the candle closes. So generally, this is favorable in that sense, in that regard. However, we look here, stochastic is starting to overextend itself, and the price action is not moving very far. This knee-jerk reaction happens based on how fast and how quick the price pulled back, and it's just that natural pullback to the upside or retracement if you will. So being under 50 on the RSI, generally not bullish, minus MACD trying to converge and stochastic kind of swinging up. That's all because of this one knee-jerk reaction here. Not something you normally trade into. Not really an advisable situation, okay? Again, my thought process here is, as a swing trader, you should be responsible and wait for confirmation. While there's no like exact science, the longer you wait, the better opportunities you're going to find. But you also sleep on a lot of good opportunities too. There's no way around it. I mean, we missed a ton of shorts on the way down just because we were waiting for the price to, recover back up to the more recent support and use that as a resistance for an entry, and it never even happened. Like, you see these almost parallel lines that should go straight down. It's crazy. Oh, anyways. Hindsight's 2020, just letting you know that if you missed opportunities, it's going to continue to happen. It's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it that makes the difference, right? So try not to be like, oh, I missed an opportunity, I'm going to force a trade now. No, let it reset, take a walk, come back later, maybe consider a better trade. And if you missed your opportunity because you were patient, it's okay, you find another one, okay? Okay. Right on. So hourly time frame, let's quickly summarize here. Ichimoku Cloud still underneath. Same thing, very similar scenario here for Bitcoin too, where we need to literally go sideways and up a little bit to be able to get confirmation and take a trade. And again, that won't even be a big, massive confirming factor being above the cloud. There's a lot of other things we want to have present. So by this time tomorrow, ideally in a perfect world tomorrow morning when I wake up, I take a look at Solana charts. The price is trending in the 130 to 135 range. We have a solid closure above 50 on the RSI, at least on the 4-hour time frame. And I forgot to look at the moving averages here, but quickly to note on the 4-hour, we want to at least be above the 20-day SMA as well. It's a very big deal. Those are all things that are going to happen 12 to 24 hours from now at best, okay? So why get into a trade right now? Doesn't make a ton of sense. Once again, all depends on what kind of trader you are. If you're swing trading, you probably should wait. If you're day trading, day trade your life away. That's okay. I don't do that anymore myself personally just because there's too much stress involved. Again, there's a lot of success to be found too. So again, if that's something you want to do, do it. Do you. But the key takeaway here is that if we get confirmation and 130 to 135 range is effectively held in the next 2 or 3 days, or 24 to 48 hours from now, I'm going to be looking for an entry there with potential range-bound trade. So enter here, sell here before we hit resistance. Or potentially short 145 if we get back there, back down to 130. Okay, so there's a strong likelihood we're going to see some range-bound activity in this point of control. There's almost always a lot of volatility in those ranges, just because it's a very interested area. Sorry, it's an area of interest rather that people are interested in buying. Okay, because again, it's just that average price that people have bought the most in the last about 6 months, right? So that's not going to change. It'll take a little while for that mentality to change, and the only way to do it is to build more volume in different price points, which we're not there. So it would make sense to see 130 to 145 be the new range. We break above or below that, and that will determine a lot here moving forward. Okay, so again, be patient, wait for a good time, and I hope that this made sense. I described this all correctly. Other than that, the last thing I want to recommend is just jumping on over to Twitter, Telegram, or Discord. Feel free to join the community. I would say definitely jump on over to our Discord, though. We have probably the largest group, most active members here. It's really a lot of fun. Future reference, if you are new to my channel, I have a signals guide here. Make sure you read through that so you understand the signals. If you're taking my day trades, you got to wait for Bitcoin to kind of stabilize before taking any of them. Because again, it's an algorithm. It's going to find good opportunities, but it can't find good ones if the market's jumping up and down like crazy. Last but not least, too, trade alerts. Be sure to tune in here. These are really good updates or things that I find beneficial in the market and things that I plan to take with trades later. So trade alerts usually become trade signals eventually. All right, folks, thanks again for your time. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.